All right, so hey everybody, um, I'm Jim, and I wanted to make a little video on tonight. The system is Adventura. It's a system I've been working on for a while, and I've been slowly trying to put out some info on it, um, just to kind of get people's opinions. So what I'm going to start to do is talk about races. And go through all my races one by one. Tonight, I'm going to talk about the Aquarions. And they are essentially the merfolk of my world, my system. And they're really just that. They're more humanoid. They don't have like fins like mermaids or mermen. They have arms. They have legs. They have their skin color is normally between a light blue or like a lighter dark green, and they generally have black hair. So that's pretty similar to what a human looks like, except for the of course the color. But the big difference is they have webbed fingers. They have gills on the side of their necks. They can breathe air and well, they can't breathe water, but they can siphon oxygen out of the water using their gills. And they have this bone protrusion that comes out of one of their wrists, and this is called the fisherman's hook. It's their natural hunting mechanism and defensive mechanism. It's different for each individual. Some are larger than others, some are straight, some are curved. It all depends. It literally is unique to the individual. Other than that, it can also be shot out, and it's connected to their wrist through this cord-like vein, which is very strong, but it can still be cut with a sharp enough tool. So it's not like they can't lose that little bone protrusion, but it is pretty hard to do. So that's just a little bit about what they are. But what I want to do is talk about some of their like stats and abilities, and then kind of go into some lore about them. I don't have much, so any suggestions would be cool. If not, you can just let me know what you think about what I have so far. So I am going to I'm going to be listing off some of their stats and stuff, and I know that they're sorry guys, but I know that y'all don't know the system yet, but I'll kind of explain it as I'm going. So there are 7 main stats that each character has, and they're predetermined per race. So by choosing Aquarion, what you are getting is your force, which is how strong you are. So this is just how much force they can apply to something, is 0. 0 is not bad, 0 is average. So they're neither less than average or more. Their finesse, which is how limber they are, how dexterous they are, is a 3. This is above average. This is actually 3 with your starting stats is the highest you can go. So obviously their best thing is their finesse. Physique is your body and how strong you are, not only physically, but your immune system. And that is a 0. So they are just average. It can vary from person to person. Mental is intelligence-wise, and they actually have a -1. It's not super bad. That just means they're a little bit less intelligent than the average person. Aquarians spend a lot of their time in the ocean. That's where they live. The vast majority. There are those that go on the land. These are the adventurers. But other than that, they don't normally go out and and learn all this different things about the world. Intuition is their instinct. It's in comparison to 5e, it's going to be your wisdom, essentially. And this is a 2 for them. So they're actually pretty good at with as far as their intuition goes. They're hunter gatherers, so they kind of have to have that intuition. Charm is how charismatic they are, how they deal with not only each other but other races. And that's a -1. So they're just a below. They generally don't deal with outsiders. They don't deal what they call the Uber block, which is just the land walkers. They don't generally go out of the sea. So they don't have a great communication with other races. It's not horrible, but it's below average. The last stat is mana. And mana is the magic that the race naturally has. And that greatly varies from person to person. But just as a base, Aquarians normally have a 2 in magic, or they have a 2 in magic. So they are normally, their average is above average. They have a little bit more magic than others. Lifespan-wise, that's their stats. Those are the 7 basic stats: force, finesse, physique, mental, intuition, charm, and mana. So their lifespan, they reach adult size, which they reach adult size at about 5 years old, which is a very fast growing process, which you got to think, living out in the ocean, you have to grow quickly to be able to defend yourself and to contribute to your community. And, you got to be able to survive. So they grow and mature very fast, and it slows down a little bit. They generally live between 80 and 110 years. They range in height from 5'5" to 6'9". So some of these guys can be very tall. They're generally very lean as well, almost pure muscle, because they spend all their time swimming. All the extra fat is burned off doing that. So they're generally very, very fit and very lean. So going to weight, though, just pretty much from pure muscle weight, it's going to be, and bone, all that good stuff. But you know what I mean. It's going to be about 125 pounds to 180 pounds, which that can be some serious muscle, depending. And of course, it can vary. It can be some can be shorter or taller, and some can be lighter or heavier. But that's just like the average. Going to some traits of theirs. They have aquatic as one of their traits. This means that they can breathe air and water. They can siphon oxygen out of the water. The webbing on their fingers, which allows them to swim more effectively than other races. And it allows you to, it allows you to swim at a faster speed. Mechanics-wise, this allows you to have a swim speed equal to your land speed, which for every starting character it's 30. So they can swim 30 feet per turn. They can walk 30 feet per turn or run. Then they have like that bone hook, like I talked about, which there's 2 variations. There's the launchable hook, which is the most common, which is essentially like spearfishing, or like with a what's it called? I can't even think of what it's called. I've been using it forever. Little harpoon. Yeah, harpoon. So yeah, look, little harpoon gun. Is how they catch fish, and they can kind of defend themselves with it. The other less common is the unlaunchable hook, which is just almost like a sword that protrudes from their wrist. Now, they cannot retract this. This is permanently there. On average, the launchable hook is going to do less damage, but it has range. The unlaunchable hook is going to do more damage, but like I said, they can't retract it like into them to hide it. It is always there. So kind of during character creation, you want to kind of specify how that looks. You don't want to say, hey, I have like a great sword coming out of my wrist, because you're going to be walking around with that the entire game. They have Aquarion reflexes, which is means that because they are so dexterous, they get a +1 to finesse saving throws, so they can react a lot quicker than most races, just naturally. Kind of look at like a spidey sense for them, so it's like an Aquarian sense. And then as far as last thing is languages. Languages, they can read, write, and speak Aquarius, which is the language of the Aquarians, and they have one other language. I leave it up to everybody. There's a common, kind of like in 5e, but it's called Dunkum, which is what is the human race is called. But the Aquarians don't so much get along with humans because they view them as poisonous. Not so much in like if you eat them you will get poisoned, but as they destroy things around them and they dump things into the sea and it starts to pollute the sea and it causes issues. That's their home. So they don't generally deal with them, and if it is, it's normally hostile. But of course, this can vary from individual to individual. So I leave it up to the players to figure out what they want to learn. I guess you could say what language they want to speak, what other race they have spent a lot of time around, which is a good part to bring up. That in this system, it's as far as I know, it's supposed to be this way in 5th edition, but it doesn't come up a lot, and a lot of people don't think about it. Is that when you choose think about it. When you choose your languages, if you don't choose something that somebody else speaks and there's no languages that overlap, then you can't speak to them. And that is very much in this system how it's going to be. You can't speak to somebody that if you don't know their language at all. So it's kind of important to maybe have like a session 0 or to at least talk to other people, your other players, whoever you're going to be sitting down with, about what they're going to be playing and try and figure out what languages everybody should learn. And that's really about it. It's kind of figured it would be like a little quick video. Maybe I'll expand on it at a later time. So let me know what everybody thinks. If you have any suggestions on how to improve the race, if you have any ideas on something that could help as far as, sorry, getting distracted looking at other stuff. So yeah, if you have any ideas of what maybe some limitations to put on them. One limitation is that they do need to be in water at least once a day. They need to moisturize their skin in some kind of way. Otherwise, their skin's going to start to dry out. They're used to being in the water all the time. So that is one drawback. You always got to, if you're going to play an Aquarian, you need to figure out a way how you're going to keep hydrated and your skin moisturized. But yeah, so like I said, let me know what y'all think. And I'll see you next time. Later.